We are honored to showcase a passionate educator and facilitator. The desire to help change the narration of education in Nigeria prompted him to join Teach for Nigeria Fellowship training. He utilizes different teaching strategies centered toward his learner and likes introducing technology to his teachings. He is a firm believer in teacher training to promote quality education. Aside from being an educator, he is an experienced data analyst with strong analytical and critical thinking skills. He is Abdullah Abdul Rahman representing Nigeria. His session title is Redefining Teaching, Transforming Learners' Weaknesses to Strengths. Hello, Abdullah, how are you?
Thank you very much, Anusha.
You are welcome. The stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's really nice to be here. I have you to thank for the opportunity for presenting at this August occasion. This is indeed a rare opportunity, and it is something I really do appreciate a lot. Sincerely speaking, since the conference started on Monday, it has been back-to-back informative, insightful session and educative sessions. So let me congratulate you once again, Anusha, and to the entire Education Influence family. Thank you, just like Anusha said, thank you everyone. It's really good to be here. Let me go again. My name is Abdullah Abdullah, currently a fellow at Teach for Nigeria. So I'm speaking live from Nigeria. So I would say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your location, as at the time you are watching this video, this session rather. So just like Amisha said, I will be speaking on redefining teaching, transforming learners' weaknesses to strengths. So please, can I share my screen, Amisha?
Yes, you may. Thank you so much, Abdul.
Thank you very much. Please hold on. Give me some seconds, please. Kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right. As I said earlier, I am Abdullah Abdullah, a fellow at Teach for Nigeria. So I will be talking on redefining teaching, which entails transforming learners' weaknesses to strengths. So let me add to my introduction that currently being a fellow at Teach for Nigeria, I teach in an unserved primary school, which is a basic school in Ogun State, Nigeria, where I teach numeracy, literacy, and science. So it's really nice to have everyone here, and I hope you're going to enjoy this session. So a quick one before we start, please, can we use the chat box to tell us to let everyone know how we are feeling about the session we had earlier and the one that we are about to have. Please, let's use the chat box. So I'll be there. I'll be reading. Anyone? Okay, thank you, Mary Jane Bruce. Thank you, Blessing. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming, please. All right. So we'll be going straight to the main session. We have a comment here. All right, we're waiting for an exciting session. Thank you, Desai. So please, Anusha, be on the lookout for other comments in the chat box.
Sure, thank you. Sure, Abdul.
Thank you very much. So a quick one before we start, let's look at this icebreaker. Which one do you prefer to be? Would you rather be a rock or a robber? So let's keep this one coming. Would you rather be a rock or a robber? So be on the lookout as well. Robber, okay. Please, while stating which one you would rather be, kindly state your reason for choosing what you decide to be. Please indicate the reasons as well. Please indicate the reasons as well. Thank you very much. Shalini, Anusha, thank you very much. Elizabeth, thank you. Rubber because of its elasticity. Thank you very much, Aziza. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Depends. Wow, what a response. Wow. Flexibility. Thank you very much. So we'll be diving right into the session. Please confirm if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Anusha. All right, so these are the objectives outlined for this session. So these are some of the things we already know. So my job here is just to like help us have a recall of some of these things. So we dive right into it. So when we say we have two basic things here. So we have weaknesses and we have strengths. So when we say weakness, so weakness has to do with a quality or a trait, something that is preventing someone to perform at optimal level. And you would all agree with me as teachers, it is quite impossible, or it is everywhere. You would see at least a student in our class or a pupil in our class who is weak in one area or the other. Even the supposed brilliant student in class will still be lagging in some areas as well. So it is no longer news that teachers of the 21st century, we are not only concerned about exams, tests. So we have to do everything we can to help these kids develop so that they can become active and responsible members of the society. So how do we do that? So it is by helping them transform their weakness. It is by helping them realize their potentials. So though it is very impossible for these kids to be perfect in everything, but at least the ones that are required for their development, that are needed for their development, we need to work on those areas so that these kids can become an active and responsible member of the much changing world. Because you would all agree with me that what was existing 10 or 5 years ago, we have new things now. So these kids, we are teaching them today, but while teaching them today, we are preparing them for a tomorrow that we are yet to see. So in preparing them for that tomorrow, we need to prepare them with everything they need so that they can survive, so that they can flourish in that tomorrow. And then, so what are some students' weaknesses? Here we have 4 writing skills. You can see the handwriting I have in the, here. So so I would like you to use the chat box. How can poor or slow writing skills affect a student? Please, let's use the chat box to respond to that. So I'll be on the lookout there. How can poor writing skills affect a student? I'm still waiting for you guys in the chat box. How poor writing skills can affect a student? Thank you very much, Mary Jane, and thank you very much, Desai. Mary Jane said self-confidence harder to advance, and then Desai said teacher wants to understand and child may lose confidence. Imagine if a child is writing something that is even that is illegible, that even the child cannot read what he or she has written. It is not so good. Talk of the teacher reading it. So this is something that the child needs to work on. We can't just leave it like that. Oh, we can't just shut it down. Oh, this child cannot write very well. Let's just leave it that way. So we have some comments here. Having HD causes limitation. Thank you. Poor writing can affect student as a teacher and might affect, and my teacher might mark them down if the such teacher cannot comprehend what the student has written. Thank you very much. So these are some of the reasons why a student need to have a very good handwriting. So as teachers, we are not, just like I said earlier, we are not only concerned about their test and examination. Test and exams are for today, to promote them into the next class. What about the unseen future? What are the plans we have? What are the provisions we have made for them? So that is why we need to work on these things. So poor writing skills being the first one, and thankfully we have all identified some of the effects or some of the things that can happen to a child if such child does not have a good handwriting skill. The next is poor attention span. Imagine a child or a student that cannot really focus for more than 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes. That's not good. You don't agree with me that such factor is not really good. If a child is in your class and the highest a child can pay attention is 5 minutes, after that the child is gone. That's not really good. So that can affect the performance of that child today, and it will also come back to haunt the child in the future if the child is not prepared to tackle such. Please, I'll be on the lookout as well. What are some of the things that attention span can do to a student? A child with a poor attention span, in the classroom and outside the classroom, what are the effects of poor attention span, both in the classroom and outside the classroom? I'll be on the lookout for our comments. Please, let's keep it coming. How a poor attention span rather can affect a child. It's behavioral issues. Thank you. The child tend to do other things that are wrong in the classroom, and the child will even lure other students with him. Okay, I'm doing something else. You can come with me. So it will attract other students, missing out on social cues. Thank you very much, Lauren. So just like I said earlier, it will affect today and will also come back on the child tomorrow. So the next one, which is shyness. So part of the most important 21st century skills is communication, right? It is one of the main C's of 21st century skills. So if a child is not able to communicate well or having difficulties communicating, you can see that is already a challenge and needs to be worked on. Because this child, we are, just like I keep saying, we are not grooming them for today. We are grooming them for both today and tomorrow. Imagine a child that has communication issue, that is really shy, that cannot express him or herself in his peers, talk less of seniors. That's not really good. And a child that is shy, a lot can happen to that child. Something might be wrong with that child. The child will not be able to discuss it. If a child is not getting a particular concept well in class, the child will not discuss it. So the child will be missing out on a lot of opportunities if such child is shy. So it is our responsibility as teachers to get that child out of the shell, to bring that child out of the shell and help that child become a very good communicator, if not a good one, but a nearly good one, so that the child can communicate actively, the child can feel free, and the child can express him or herself in front of his rights, in the presence of his peers, and of course with teachers or other seniors. Please, can we write some of the things shyness can cause in a child? I'll be on the lookout. Same time. Thank you very much. Behavioral issue. Thank you. Shyness. Shyness, effect of shyness, inferiority complex. The child will feel inferior that, oh, these ones are way above me. Meanwhile, it is wrong. Such child can do better, even more than those ones. Please, let's keep it coming, please. Do not ask for questions. Step out of comfort zone. Thank you very much, Mary Jane. Let's keep it coming, please. Poor self-confidence. Thank you very much. You did. The so child will be left behind. Complete withdrawal. Thank you. You all have a point. Thank you very much for engaging. Now the next one is apathetic attitude towards learning. This is indeed a very bad one. Imagine a child in school and that child is showing a lack of basic attitude toward learning. The child is not interested in learning. So such child needs answer to a question, and that question is, why am I in school? So if as a teacher you are not able to provide that answer, no matter what you do to the child will continue to feel, to have that apathetic feeling towards his or her studies. Thank you very much. So as I was saying, apathetic attitude being a factor is really a huge challenge, because the child will feel indifferent in whatever you are doing in class. That such child will not feel concerned. And in most cases, students with apathetic attitude towards learning usually have like this charisma, or let me say, this tendency to brag other students alongside them. So as a teacher, you don't want that in your class, do you? No, you don't want that. So you need to let these students understand why he's in school. That is one of the reasons why such child is behaving that way. Why am I even in school? What's the essence of education? So as a teacher, you need to like explain to that child. You need to like listen to that child why such child needs schooling, why the child is in school, and what the child can do with his or her potentials. And then the next one on my list here is psychological issues. If a child is having psychological issues, of course, there's nothing you can say that can go integrate with the child. So the best thing is that you need to let the child understand that, oh, the current challenge you're facing is not the end of the world. So you need to like tackle it, face it, and become the best version of yourself. So I'd like to implore us, let's write some of the psychological issues that can affect a child, or let me say a student at large, be it at kindergarten level or even at high school level. What are some psychological issues a child might be facing? Please let's keep them coming. Psychological issues a child might be facing. Let's keep them coming. I'll be on the lookout in the chat box. Are we there? Thank you very much. Issues at home, domestic issues. If a child is having issues at home, of course, the child will not be able to concentrate well in class. Okay, trauma. Thank you very much. If a child is experiencing trauma, it might really affect them a lot. So it will withdraw them totally from the classroom. So let's keep them coming. Thank you very much, Blessing. Thank you very much, Mary Jean. Let's keep them coming, please. Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. Are we there? All right, so we'll proceed to the next one. Live life with my rules and stick to them. While this might be considered good, it is as well not so good to some extent, because in life, everything is not black and white. So if you say, this is how I will do my thing, it might really affect you in the long run. Just like I keep reiterating, these children are not for today, but for tomorrow as well. So the child needs to be taught on the different life coping skills, on how certain things can affect the way he or she thinks. And the best thing to do is to go with positive life coping skills. So up next, we'll be moving to strategies to identify weaknesses. So before we go there, so what are some of the strategies that can be employed to identify weaknesses in your class? The first and most important one Thank you very much. Sorry, I have to check this. Thank you very much. The first and most important one is to ask a question. You know, when you get to a place in the day, it is a required of you to ask some questions, to know some things about your new environment. So, and one of the ways you can identify weaknesses in your new students is by asking questions from some of the teachers you meet in the school, so that you can best identify the best strategy to employ in correcting such. So it is really good to ask questions. So that will really go a long way in assisting you while you go on the voyage of helping a child. Then the next one is by creating a safe classroom space. By creating a safe classroom space, children will be able to share my mind. Sorry for that. Children will be able to share their minds, even adults. When you let them know that you are concerned, they'll be able to share whatever they have in mind with you. Which is why, as teachers, we need to have a lot of hat on. Children, or let me say students generally, they need care, they need compassion. So you need to show them so that they can tell you whatever is wrong with them. If you as a teacher is a type that don't entertain your facial expression at all times, is usually something else. Students will not feel free with you. They will not be able to share whatever is wrong with them with you. And that way, you'll not be able to identify anything as far as what is wrong with them. Then up next is that, having known that we need to ask questions from those we meet, that is the teachers in the school, or even the parents, we can meet the parents. And then by creating a safe classroom space for the children, the next thing is that you have to share your story with your students. So that, what's the essence of doing this? So that these kids will know, those children will know that you can relate with whatever they are going through. When you are open, when you share whatever is your story, what you have gone through, what you have passed through, when you share it with them, they'll feel obliged that, wow, oh, this teacher is someone I can confide in. So they'll be able to share whatever is wrong with them, they'll be able to share it with you. So by sharing your story with your students, they will also share theirs with you, because that is a strategy for creating a safe classroom space for your students. So it is really good to share your story with your students so that they can learn from it, and so that they can know that, oh, what they are going through is not the end of the road. They can still do more and they can achieve a lot. So up next is closely observe their behavior. Hello? Is anyone talking?
Hi, Abdul.
We are here, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Abdul. Please continue. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. All right, thank you very much, Anusha. So the next thing is that you closely observe their behavior. So just since you can sit at a position or move close to them, observe what they are doing. Thank you very much. They trust us if we share their story, if we share our own stories. Thank you very much, Desai. So kids tend to, when you relate that, oh, yeah, I've gone through what you are going through, or I've gone through something related to what you are going through, or I've even gone through what is even worse than what you're going through. Please, I would really appreciate if this person can mute his mic. Someone is speaking. Can you see to that, Anusha?
I'm not able to see any mic that's been turned on, Abdul.
Okay, that should be Rana, Javier Rana. His mic is not off. All right. So another thing is that we should closely observe their behavior. Let them know that you care. So up next, because of our time, we'll be moving to some of the strengths, as what the strengths imply. These are qualities that allow someone to deal with a problem in a determined and effective way. That is, what will enable you to face a challenge What keeps you going? What will enable you to face a challenge and get it done in a short while? So this is what strength is. That is something you are very good at. So that is what the strength is, as opposed to weakness, where what wherein it applies to something that keeps you down, while strength refers to something that keeps you going. What keeps you strong? Thank you very much. So just like I said earlier, okay, I have something here. Thank you very much, Gupta. Like the idea of sharing your own experience. This will also help them bridge the gap. Thank you very much for that observation. So moving on. So we said strengths are the things that keep you going. It is the direct opposite of weakness. Weakness, what holds you down, what prevents you from doing something in an effective way. Strength, on the other hand, are things that it is where you are really good at. So how do you get ahead? How do you move from weakness to strength? How do you move a student from weakness to strength? How do you move yourself from weakness to strength? The first and most important thing is awareness. You need to understand what you are going through. You need to understand what the child is going through. That is how you can identify weakness. Oh, thank you very much for the reminder, Anisha. So the gap from where you are and where you want to be, that is the difference between strength and weakness. That is the gap. What will help you bridge that gap is the mindset. Having known that self-awareness will help you identify your weakness. So in a bid to transform that weakness to strength, in a bid to turn that weakness to strength, what you need is your mindset, a change in mindset. So you don't say, oh, I cannot do this. I cannot do this. So instead, have it in mind that, oh, I can do it. You need to intensify your efforts. That is what your mindset is all about. And when it comes to mindset, we have fixed mindset and we have growth mindset. So in case of this lesson, this session rather, we'll be talking about growth mindset. So when we say growth mindset, that is the approach to life in which an individual believes that the skills and ability can be improved. That is, whatever you are going through is not permanent, it is just temporary. What you just need to do is to intensify your efforts. What you just need to do is to upskill yourself. What you just need to do is to do more so that you can move from the area of weakness and move it towards what? Towards the strength. So a change in mindset is all that is required. You know, you will hear some teachers say, oh, you cannot become anything in life. Oh, this is the end of the road for you. That is a fixed mindset. It is important for us as educators, and it is also important that we instill it in our students and children as well, that they need to develop a growth mindset. They need to develop a growth mindset, because having a fixed mindset is something that is really holding a lot of people down today. So why they feel, oh, I cannot achieve this, I cannot achieve that. So a growth mindset will help you move from your weakness and then project you to what? To your strength. Or let me say project you to your strength. So we're going to look at some of the strategies that we can employ to transform weaknesses to strengths. Just like I said earlier, that to identify weakness, you need to be aware. So you have to clearly define and accept that, oh, this is what I'm going through. This is what this child is going through. So by doing that, you have solved half of the problem, because you've been able to identify what such child is going through. So that will go a long way in assisting you in strategizing a way to help the child. The next thing is that Most teachers are fond of comparing a child with another. Oh, can't you see your pay? Can't you see this student? He's doing a lot. If you want to compare children, it should be in a positive way and not in a negative way. So let's desist from the act of comparing a child with another. No two child is the same. A child might be good in this area, but lacking in another area. It is your responsibility to help that child in ensuring that the area the child is lagging is not affecting the strength of the child. To ensure that the area the child is lacking is not affecting the strength of the child. That is why it's not really good to compare a child with another. So by comparing a such child with another, the child, you are taking such child or such students back to his or her shell. Another thing that can help us is that we should seek help. We don't know everything, that's certain. So whenever we need help, we should be open to seeking assistance. We should be open to seeking help from others. If you know that, oh, I have someone in a particular profession that can help this child, invite that person around. By identifying a resource person indicates that, no, yes, this person is really good. So as teachers, we shouldn't assume that, oh, I can solve everything all by myself. We should learn to seek assistance. We should learn to seek help so that children or our students can learn from us that, oh, let me learn from what this teacher is doing. And another thing that is very important is that let the students understand why you are helping them. You don't just help a child in isolation. Let the child understand why you are doing it, so that the child will also help you. You know, when you want to help someone and the person is not willing to be helped, can you achieve the objective? The answer is a capital no. The answer is a capital no. So you need to help the child understand why you are doing it. You need to help the child understand why you are doing what you are doing, so that the child can also help you in your journey of transforming the weakness of the child, of changing what is bad about the child to what is good. And then the next one is that, which will be the final one, is that you set quantifiable and achievable goals. What are quantifiable goals? Goals that can be measured. And then you tag them with the period you want them achieved. Okay, by the end of the first week, we should be able to achieve this. By the end of the first month, we should be able to achieve this. So they should be achievable. You should set realistic goals. So you shouldn't set goals that cannot be achieved. So it is very important that you set quantifiable and achievable goals. So that is very important in helping a child. You shouldn't set, you shouldn't approach something the way it looks. Oh, since this is a big problem, I want to set a big goal. No, you don't do that. So you set gradual goals. You have your long-term goal and you have your short-term goal. You also need to have your intermediate goal, which are the goals that will bridge the gap between the short-term goals and the long-term goals. So it is very important that we set achievable goals, very important. And then the one that can be measured, not just vague ones. So in conclusion, since the role of schooling is beyond test and exam, there's a need to help students develop their capacities and abilities so that they can effectively function as an active and responsible member of the increasing evolving world. I'll keep reiterating this. This is 21st century. We have gone past the days of, oh, everything is about test and exam. What about the future? What happens then? So we need to prepare these children for the future. So the things the students will need in the future, and today and tomorrow, we need to help them in those areas. So these are the things those kids will remember us for. So that is why I would say that let's reflect on this after listening to this session. That's what will my students remember about me? So, you know, as a teacher, you were once a student and you have a favorite teacher. and you have some teachers you cannot forget about for one reason or another. So why some reasons are positive, why some are negative? For you, which one do you want your students to remember you for? Is it on the positive side, on the negative side? Let's reflect on that as we go about our daily activities after leaving this session. So I think I will entertain questions and concern now, Anusha.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
that's the end
so
of
much,
my
Abdullah.
session.
Thank you so much for sharing your session. Thank you so much. Thank you for showing us techniques that can be utilized to transform factors that hinder effective learning into students' greatest assets. Thank you very much. And we have love from all over the world pouring in for you and your session. We have, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Abdullah, please do unmute yourself if you have any questions, or you may also register them in a chat box and I will convey it to Abdullah. We have so many messages for you. We have so many messages for you. Blessing Pakayodi writes, such children restrict themselves to a particular belief of nothing worth my speaking up. Then we have Blessing writing, usually psychological problems are results of unpalatable experiences. They can range from gender discrimination to events in a child's life which he or she cannot manage. Such a child needs a mentor, one who can listen to them and help offer solutions to their problem. And we have Jyoti Gupta writing, like the idea of sharing your own experience. This will also help to bridge age gap. Luniti Desai writes, that's a real experience I had. When we share our own stories, they feel connected, trust us, and feel we are one of them and open up easily. It changes their way of thinking as well. Everybody saying a very, very great points with the session. And Mary Jane Bruce writes, all these years later, I remember that my teachers cared for me as an individual by the ways they showed it. Great session. Thank you for your efforts. And I do have a question for you as well, Abdul. And my question is, learning skills do not remain the same as context keeps, changing. Learning skills in physical mode can be different than that of virtual mode. So how would you like to integrate them?
Thank you. Please, can you read the question out again?
So learning skills, can be different in a physical mode, and it can be different in a virtual mode, and it keeps changing. The context keeps changing. So how would you like to integrate them?
All right, thank you very much, Anisha, and thanks for the person that asked the question. So in terms of virtual lesson, it is quite different from what in-person lesson is. So, and to create connection in virtual lessons it's not quite so, it's quite hard, I would say. It's not as easy as creating connection in an in-person class. So what I would recommend, one of the things I would recommend is that there are ways you can make the students understand that you are concerned about their development as they go through what you have prepared for them. And if the virtual sessions, if it involves video conferencing, we can also utilize the one strategy which entails allowing students show their camera, such that you can see them. Kids, even adults generally, people generally, whenever they are going through anything, it is one of the ways you can easily identify that is through what, number one, that their face, you can know through their face, and then even their body language. So that can assist you in that. So, and once you've been able to do that, once you've been able to create that connection with your students, so such child will be able to share whatever he or she is going through with you, and then you can begin to forge a way out. So I believe I have answered the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you. We have Urmia A. Udi questioning, thank you. A situation you are able to diagnose a child's problem and start a process of helping the child, but the parents feel you are stressing the child. What do you do?
Thank you very much. one of the ways you can do that is that by just like I said, one of the strategies is that help them understand, help the parents understand what the child needs. Let them know what the child can do. That is in terms of, oh, your child is capable of doing this, your child is capable of doing that. After you must have put forth those positive things about the child. So let them know that for the child to get there, this is what the child needs to do. Because there is no parent that wants failure for his or her child. And as far as everyone is concerned, your parents are your number one fan. So no parents want something bad for his or her child. So once you've been able to explain to the parents what the child can do and what needs to be done in order for the child to do that, so the parents would be willing to reason with you. And if you can't do that alone, you can also invite others that are close to the child. You know, there are some information that cannot be allowed to like go beyond the parents teacher intervention. So people you believe can help, and the parents won't feel offended if you share something like that with them. So those people can help you with strategies you can utilize in talking to the parents. And now, but one thing is important: let the parents understand why the intervention is required.
Thank you, Abdullah. Elizabeth Esther questions: does this include ADHD?
Please come again.
Elizabeth Esther questions: does this include ADHD? I believe it's a medical condition.
Please, Esther, can you help with the full meaning of ADHD?
Sorry, Abdullah. I believe she is offline at the moment. I'm just going to share another query with you. Unnati Desai shares, there is lack of awareness on learning difficulties being an educator. I'm trying from all the directions, but somewhere parents or schools or society drags them away from getting solutions from us.
Right. So the problem in education, thank you very much, and thanks to the person that asked the question. The problem about education is that the problem is systemic. It is not coming from one direction. It is from different angles. So all you can just do is try as much as possible to pick the angle you want to choose your intervention from, and then go in like that. Because if you want to, you can't. It is impossible for you to tackle everything all at once. Even the government are not able to do that. So what you can do is that choose the one you think, oh, this I can easily achieve it, or if I invite one or two persons or groups, we can achieve it together. So that I think you can address that.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. Unnati Desai again shares, ADHD is called attention deficit hyperactive disorder, special needs.
Okay. All right, please, can you repeat the question on ADHD again?
Does this, so
The
Elizabeth questioned, does this include ADHD? ADHD meaning attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
All right, thank you very much. As educators, one of the things we are meant to be is a lifelong learner. We need to keep learning, because the moment we stop learning, it's assumed that we're there. So there are cases, ADHD, for instance, there are limits to which a teacher can really assist. So you can just invite people whose responsibility is tackling such challenge. I won't call it a problem. It's tackling such challenge. You can invite them over, and then let it be an intervention between you and the child, and the person that needs to know knows. Thank you very much, Desai. She acknowledged the fact that
thank you so much.
Research shared by Mary Jane, that she's an active member of the society.
Thank you so much. We have Blessing Pakayodi raising her hand. Hello, Blessing.
Blessing, you can speak.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdullah, for the opportunity, and thank you for the wonderful session you anchored. I actually wanted to come in when the person asked about ADHD. That's it's a chronic condition which affects a learner's attention. It affects the learner's attention. The learners, they can get very hyperactive, and then they get easily impulsed. So everything you do, they get impulsive about them, and then they don't want to pay attention to you. So that's just the breakdown of that bridge word. Don't mind the big word itself. So
All right,
it
thank
cannot
you.
be cured permanently, but then it can be treated. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Blessing. Just like I said, you can do your own as a teacher and then invite those people who are specialized in that area so they can look for ways in addressing it. And thank you for indicating the fact that it can be managed, so they can invite them over so that they can manage it effectively.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abdullah. We have Mary Jane sharing the link. This is a great resource to help educators learn more about disabilities. I've taken several courses and benefited. She shares about ebility.com. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. And we have blessing writing. To do that, what makes your work easier is you sensitize the parents first. I mean, they must have clarity on why that's to be done, and the results it would bring. With that, no parents want to have a backlog on raising their kids. Thank you so much, Blessing. And
definitely,
if you have any more questions for Abdullah, please, ladies and gentlemen, please please unmute yourself, and please, the stage is yours.
Please, do you have any other question?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Abdullah. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be showcasing Abdullah's recordings and the resources on our platform, educationinfluence.com. We will be emailing you with details very, very soon. And Nati Desai says no questions. Thank you, Nati. Thank you very much, Abdullah. Thank you so much for your session. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if you wish to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'll just write out my name. So that's my name. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn if you wish. So thank you very much. Thanks everyone for attending, and thank you very much, Anusha, for the opportunity. I really appreciate this. And thank you everyone once again.
Thank you.
So don't forget, there's still another session after this.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you very much. Thank you.